The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet. Join the excitement and sign up to Jeff Banks online now to get 10% off any net losses returned as cash after your first month of betting up to £500 at jeffbanks.bet. We'll begin with the Dubai International Airport World Trophy Stakes, the Group 3 over 5 furlongs. And regular listeners to the show will know I'm a big fan of this horse. Not in this occasion, though, because I'm going with the jockey bookings. And Ross Ryan has decided to desert him and ride Democracy Dilemma, and that's enough for me. He's an 8-1 shot. Andy Richmond, for you.
Sprinting division, would say one thing, just keep an eye on the weather for Newbury. There is a heavy risk of rain for tomorrow on Friday and a 60% chance of rain on Saturday. So the good to soft there, if you can believe that, with good in places, could get worse yet. Sprint division this year, to be quick, 5 furlongs, it's all over the place, and everything beats everything else. I did think, whilst respecting a NAF who got hampered in the Group 1 last time out, did think there were 2 in this that were quite interesting. A Day in Devon for the very underrated Rod Millman team. Another really likeable filly. She ran 2nd of 8 in the Pontefract listed race last night, really consistent, so could see her running a very solid race. Not sure why they took Al Bashir out of the Air Gold Cup to run in this, because will he get enough pace to run at? He seems a horse who always needs pace to run at. The other one I really liked was No Half Measures for the Richard Hughes yard. Let's hope the owner hasn't backed it and backed it and up this time. That has got to be the biggest load of old bullshit I've seen in ages. I mean, crazy. I mean, if you've got the price on it and the thing's going to run well, why not just let him win and watch it on your phone?
What was it? What was Richard Hughes' quote? Was it he got the 12s?
Yeah, that name is apparently available for if you want to name a horse. Anyhow, let's crack on. 6 of 15 at Longchamp last time out. No half measures from stall 10, which we all know is a real handicap box there, because the first 4 home were drawn 3, 5, 4 and 7. 3-year-olds have actually won 3 of the last 4 of these. The only 3-year-old in the field won it last year. I think it's actually quite a nice horse. Hasn't been a winning fab in this since 2018. Mr. Lupton won it, 11-4 favourite. So a couple of pokes against the field, no half measures, and A Day in Devon.
He gets Ryan Moore as well. No half measures for Richard Hughes, a 6-1 shot. Andy Newton.
Yeah, I mean, Naf, I know you liked that one before, didn't you, in the Sprint Cup? But it didn't run great there, did it? I mean, the sort of the issue here would be back down to 5 furlongs. But if that rain comes, then I think that will definitely be in Appleby's horse's favour, because I just think it just takes a bit of time to get going, doesn't it? Enough, but it does need to bounce back. So, and at the prices, that's what you're sort of pitching against. 11-4. Will it run? Will it bounce back? So not for me really. I agree with the old Al Bashir, Peter Michael's favourite horse. That he's been putting up for the last month or so.
He will be sick if he wins this weekend and he didn't tip him.
Will be, yeah. But I agree with what Andy said. I mean, yeah, the same with last year's Air Gold Cup winner as well, significantly at the bottom. I mean, it's a bit strange they're running in, not running the air and they're going here. But, one of them might win and we have egg on our face. We'll find out. But the draw stats, 5 of the last 6 are drawn low here, quite low, 5 or lower. So that will knock a fair chunk out. And NAF is okay. Relief Rally is one I quite like. We touched on A Day in Devon, drawn 3 as well. So the top sort of 3 in the market all tick the draw stat. Relief Rally, Haggis horse, course and distance winner. It's only run, I think, 7 times or so, 4 wins. So Haggis, decent strike rate at the track, 22% overall. Won the Lowther, didn't it, a couple of last year, I think. And it's only run twice this season. So it's going to come here fairly fresh. So the only thing, it ran second, didn't it, to elite status at Newbury back in May, which I suppose, the form of that's still okay. It didn't run great in the old Sprint Cup, did it, elite status? But I still, I think that's fairly decent form. And I think Relief Rally with drawn 5 would probably get the nod for me. I did have a little look at no half measures. Obviously, the interesting thing is Ryan Moore has been booked. I'm not sure if you mentioned that, Andy. Hughesy's in okay form, not as good form as he was probably a month or so ago, but only ran didn't it, last week in France?
Yeah, France, yeah.
Even though it came 6, I mean, if you watch that race back, it was sort of on the outside and it wasn't beaten far. I think it was probably less than a length in the end. They all finished.
If you take all the distance, it was actually beaten 3/4 of the length in 6th.
Yeah, exactly. So they all finished in a bit. They all finished in a bit of a heap, didn't they?
A heap, yeah, and it ran well from stall 10, which is on the outside. It was 3, 5, 4, and 7. There was the stall 11 was 5th.
Yeah, and Ryan's won on it before as well, which is another plus. So I think they're the sort of 2 against the field, really. Relief Rally and no half measures, but it's just a draw. 11 no half measures. Have to be some birthday boy magic from Ryan. I think it was his birthday in the week, wasn't it? So hopefully he can overcome that. But yeah,
he had a great interview with Matt Chapman. It was really insightful, deep stuff, incredible analysis there from Ryan. It's amazing how Matt just gets him to... Oh, wait, no, it's Lydia he opens up for. That's right. Lydia gets great stuff out of him. Every time Matt puts the microphone on his face, he basically punches him in the face with it. I
think it's just become an ongoing thing now. It's just going to get worse. I think he's just doing it on purpose now.
He's treating him like he used to treat Bob Cooper. It's just, I don't know what went on there, but he does not want to talk to Matt Chapman at all. And it's very, very clear he doesn't. Stall 9 isn't great for Democracy Dilemma, but I'm fascinated that Ross Ryan could be riding an F, and he's riding this horse instead. And he was really, really good in the Beverly Bullet. But as Andy said, these horses just keep on beating one another. So I don't know who's turning the merry-go-round is it this time. I'll take the 8s about Democracy Dilemma.
The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet, where tradition meets cutting-edge technology, and with major flat racing festivals on the horizon and the new jump season about to kick off properly, it's time to leave behind the corporate bookmakers who don't value your loyalty. At this point, you've got to be fed up of their restrictions, endless affordability checks, and losing out on incentives just because you dare to win a bet. Jeff is the bookmaker fighting for your right to bet, giving you the freedom to enjoy British and Irish racing the way it should be, and you can watch all that racing on the Jeff Banks Bet app. So say goodbye to bookies who want you to lose your hard-earned money on their online casinos, and say yes to unbeatable odds and a bookmaker that truly values your custom, Jeff Banks Bet. Final Furlong podcast listeners who sign up to Jeff Banks Online using the promo code FFP500 can get 10% of any net losses returned as cash after your first month of betting up to £500. It's an offer you won't see anywhere else. Visit jeffbanks.bet today and enter promo code FFP500 and join the excitement. That's jeffbanks.bet using promo code FFP500, because your betting experience deserves more.
205 is the 1 mile, 5.5 furlongs Dubai duty-free Autumn Cup handicap. Wax and Gibbous almost did it for us, but didn't quite. I'm not sure if the pace of this race is going to suit. Harry Davis takes over again for Holly Doyle. He's been on board for 2 of the 3 previous runs. Andy Richmond, what do you think?
Wax and Gibbous would certainly have a chance, beaten by one of my favourite horses of the year, Epic Poet.
Yeah, it's class out.
Yeah, do like that horse. I think he's got a great chance. They run him in the November handicap. I think that's where they should run him next. Was very unlucky in the Ebor. Wax and Gibbous, whether he gets enough pace to run at, I say runner-up last time out. I think actually Wax and Gibbous would have a good chance for the November handicap. The plus point would be any softening ground. She'll certainly handle that. Of the others in the race, Chillingham was kept fresh for the Ebor. I think that backfired on him a bit, actually, because he ended up being far too keen, Chillingham. Again, a horse I've liked. He tends to run well in these contests, but without winning. And that's always my slight worry with him. If I have a preference in this, it's probably Liber River, whose last 5 starts have gone first, second, second. The defeats have all been by a neck or less. He did well at York last time out over 12 furlongs from off the pace. The pair he split that were ridden far more prominently. They were Shadow Dance and Dark Moon Rising. The 6th out of that race, Grey Cuban, actually won next time out. He's only gone up £4 for that win. I think he's probably the one I like. I'm sort of would almost want to have a little small play on Chillingham as well, because the horse I've liked for ages. And a young jockey to watch in this who's impressed me, Jack Dace, son of trainer Luke Dace. He rides Youthful King, who he rode to win last time out. It was his 2nd winner from 20 rides under rules. Keep an eye on this kid. He's very good.
And he's claiming £7 as well. I would agree with all of that, by the way. Libra Power, an absolute model of consistency. By the time of the race day on Saturday, he'll have had 5 races in 71 days. And as Andy said, first, second. He's going to go super close here, I would think, and the race should be run to suit him as well. The horse that beat him the last day was third in a very good handicap at the St. Ledger meeting last week, so that form's already been boosted. I really like him, and the race should be run to suit. Andy Newton, for you.
I'm going to go against the top 2, I think, in here, Waxing Gibbons and the one you've mentioned there, both of you guys.
Libra Power, how dare you?
Yeah. Look, I think they'll be thereabouts, and if I was going to do a place pot, they're going to be sort of high up on the list, aren't they? Consistency and all that. But they're both, I think Waxing's gone up £5, Libra's gone up £4, so there's going to need a tiny bit more. And, in terms of actually winning, Wax Gibbous, is it Gibbous or Gibbons? Gibbous.
Gibbous.
It's only won one of its last 7, isn't it? But I think, that win has come here at Newbury, which is a plus. And it ran well last time in the Borough Cup, didn't it, in second. So yeah, that's going to be. I'm surprised, Emmet, you haven't touched on old Knightswood.
Oh no! You've triggered. I've got to go back into therapy now. Thanks for that. BetterHelp. Hello, BetterHelp. Look, can we talk for half an hour about all the money I've lost in this horse, please? Thank you.
But to be fair, I was with you last time as well when it came fourth in the old Borough Cup, and it's actually £6 better off with Waxing.
Don't. I'm not going to. Do not try and persuade me back onto this bloody. No.
It's £6 better off.
I don't care. No.
Okay. Right, but look, I'm going to. Chillingham, I think, has got a great chance. Stable, Edward Bethel Yard, absolutely buzzing at the moment. And I think who's on it? Buick's on it as well, which is a massive plus. As Andy said, it seems to sort of pop up in these kind of races, isn't it? Ran all right in the Ebor, a little bit fresh and keen, but I think it was a bit of a layoff when it came back. So it's sort of understandable. Should be absolutely spot on now. Down £1 as well. So all that sort of put into the melting pot. Chillingham's definitely one for the short list. We've got to talk about last year's winner, surely, in the race. Not So Sleepy. At the grand old age of 12 now, Tom Marquand riding.
Is this his last run?
Huh?
Is this his last ever run?
It might. Well, it maybe. It could very well be, unless they start putting it over hurdles again and try and win the fight in fifth.
Hey, Constitution Hill's vulnerable, baby.
Yeah, he's well. You never know.
Turns out he's mortal. He bleeds.
Only if we get a type note from Nicky.
Well, it's going to be the same thing all over again. It's like, well, we want to run him, but the old boy's got a bit of a cold.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Not So Sleepy might stay in training after this if it does. But yeah, loves it. It's very good fresh, isn't it? So 112 days wouldn't be a bother. Great jockey booking, and you just think that this would have been its target. It might be its swan song. It might be its last one. If it is, then it's got to be on the radar. It's only £1 higher than last year as well. And then it's one to sort of throw into the mix as well, and only because the trainer's in super duper form is Attica's Arrow, number 15, drawn 11. The French Davis camp at the moment are in flying form, 36% strike rate I think they're operating at. So this one, was a decent winner last time at Chester. It's only up £5 for that as well, which looks fair. Gets in here with just 8 stone 4 in racing weight, and I just think it looks like the money's come for it a little bit as well. I mean, it's probably more like 20s, 25s a few days ago, and it's now bordering around Emmet 10s, 12s maybe.
About that, yeah.
Whether people have picked up on the stable form at the moment, I don't know. But I just think last year's winner, Not So Sleepy, and this Attica's Arrow are sort of interesting ones that sort of just bordering on double figure prices. Let's just hope Knightswood doesn't win.
Oh, if Knightswood wins, I will throw the remote off the wall and act like a complete spoilt child in a restaurant who's not being given the ice cream that they're demanding. I won't take it well. I'm a bad loser, but I will take that real bad if Knightswood comes along and wins this race. at some point you just got to draw a line and just go, nope, no more. He has been a bad cliff horse for me, and if that fella goes and wins, I will. There'd be peas and carrots everywhere. I'm trying to mind my language, but oh no, I won't take that well at all. Now, just very, very briefly on one at a massive price. Isn't Grand Alliance very interesting here? It's 25-1. James Doyle's been booked for the ride. Would have needed the run at Haydock the other day. We talked about him for that. We did. We literally a group horse and a handicap.
Yeah. Well, look, if you want, we can whack another little message to Charlie and we'll put it in the comments down here for the weekend and we'll find out what he's thinking. But yeah, would have needed to run. Yeah, good shout, Emmet, maybe.
Yeah, do. Send Charlie Fellows a message and we can...
put it in the comments.
The last time I did this, I said, hey, Siri, call Charlie Fellows, and she almost did. Don't do it. No. Jesus Christ, stop.
He's going to block you.
He will be going, what the hell is that Irish clown doing? I just think he's interesting at 25s, but neither of you really responded like, oh, yeah, actually, that's really intriguing. So we shall move swiftly along to a race that I know. Well, it's not quite the 2 euro race, actually, so maybe this is actually one that Andy's very keen on. The 240 is the Dubai duty-free handicap. The Class 2 over 10 furlongs. Flying Frontier heads the betting at 7-2 from Involvement. These two clashed the last day. Involvement was the red-hot favourite that day, but Flying Frontier had just a little bit too much for him, and James Doyle takes over in the saddle. I think he'll win this, Andy Richmond.
He could well do. Flying Frontier, Involvement, yeah. Didn't really thought they took a lot out of the market. I think there's a few interesting ones here. Quietness, only lost once this year. She's been in terrific form. Another horses, we're talking about horses going through the handicap, started off on 68, now on up to 91 and off 95 today. She's really tough. She's won in this grade last time out. I find it hard to write her off. Whipcracker was second of 10 in the field earlier in the year, but he's failed to repeat that form. Apparently he got jarred up at Royal Ascot, so he comes back. The two Ed Walker runners, Fantasy Believer and Canoodled, are both interesting. Fantasy Believer, and he's done a wonderful job with that this year. The one I thought at a price, in the hope that it rains, is Laffy. Not seen him since April on the all-weather. His last turf start, he won off a mark of 92 back at Newmarket in November. His best form has come on soft and heavy, and they've kept him in training. I think he's still quite well handicapped off 9 stone 2 and a mark of 95. Double figure price in a race that is absolutely wide open, and the front end of the market, Flying Frontier and Involvement take a lot out of it. I think I might have a stab at Laffy.
I'm liking that. I'm liking it even more because Laffy is currently a 12-1 shot, and he has literally just moved from that price. He was 14s. Okay. So one of you two Andys hit the back button on a betting site that made it go.
No.
Of course, ethically, we would never do that until the listeners get to hear what's being said. And of course, just like the people who read the Racing Post beforehand and see Tom Siegel's tips would never act on that before it gets published. Never. Of course. Andy Newton, what do you think?
Well, I think that Laffy's price is going to come down even more because that was on the short list as well. Interesting one, Andy. Picked up exactly what you've said there. Newbury is expecting a bit of rain in the next couple of days. We know that this horse will be a lot better with a bit of give. You know, last time, it was back in April, wasn't it, at Kempton, where it came last. Totally can forgive that. Obviously, something amiss there. But, you know, you go back to its forms, it's only had 9 runs, so there's going to be plenty more to come. It's won twice. Certainly well handicapped back on its old form as well. And more interestingly as well, the old Haggis stats here with his older horses, 31% strike rate. So yeah, that is definitely a horse that I don't think is going to be double figure price come Saturday. I might be wrong, but we'll see. Especially if this rain comes, people latch onto that and the old Haggis factor. I think he's won this race fairly recently before as well. let's have a look, 2020, in fact, yeah. So bit of history there. I think the top two in the market, Flying Frontier Involvement, obviously they've got a bit of history themselves. They there or thereabouts, you can make cases for them. Quietness, been in great form, shooting up the weights. You just think at some point it's going to get caught up with by the handicapper, the Tregonian horse. So yeah, Laffy, and then I think I'd probably have a little play with Whipcracker as well, only because Ryan's on it, and it was gelded since its last run. Yes, it was a bit poor at Ascot in the Britannia. I think it came 14th in the end, but as you mentioned, it ran all right in the field, and if you can cling to something onto that, there's some good form back there. Ran that JRB, didn't it? That won it, didn't it? So that's fairly decent form. It's been third in a listed race at Newmarket back in May as well. And yeah, the Hughes form is still sort of ticking along okay-ish. As I said, they were in better order about a month ago. But yeah, I think Whipcracker and Laffy, ground would be okay for it as well. And the trip's fine, no problem.
I thought Bolster was very interesting. He went over to the Curragh and he was sent off a 3-1 shot against Jan Bruegel, who was only having his second start, but that's in a group race that Aidan O'Brien's got a good record in. Last time out, he just wouldn't have liked the fact that the ground was drying at Ascot. He ran no sort of race, but ground was against him. Prior to that, he'd made all at Epsom, and he'd been really good. Carl Burke was saying at the time he thought he was going to be a Group 3 horse at least, and yet he's coming back after a break of 70 days into a Class 2 handicap, and he's 2 from 2 off a break of 60 days or more. So at 12-1, 14s actually. Bolster for me.
I think that was one of the ones that was entered up at Ayr, wasn't it, in that race that started winning. They've obviously rerouted it down here or whatever, so that could be an angle as well. Yeah. Good shout.
I'm intrigued with him. 14-1, I think, is a very fair price for the 250. Our final race at Newbury on the 3:15 is the Dubai Duty Free Mill Reef Stakes, and I am kicking myself because it was pretty obvious Shadow of Light was going to be favourite for this. Cool Half Luke was unlikely to take up his engagement. Ides of March definitely wasn't. Did I go and back him at 5-1? No, of course I didn't. And he's now 9-4 for Charlie Appleby and William Buick. Powerful Glory, an 11-4 shot, Symbol of Strength. It was just behind him in the Gimcrack Stakes, the favourite that is, Shadow of Light, and then won on the all-weather when a very confident tip for both Andy and Peter Michael a couple of weeks ago is a 13-2 shot to exact his revenge. Brian, trying to exact revenge on Symbol of Light from the all-weather and has some smart form to his name as well, is an 8-1 shot. Andy Richmond, who do you like in your favourite division of all, the juveniles?
I'm going to be incredibly brief here because I'm afraid I'm going to have to dash in a minute, and because I've got another engagement. The 6 Furlong Group 2 Mill Reef, I'm going to go with Split the Stakes, Defence Minister, who is 2 from 2. I thought he did best of those who raced up with the pace last time out. Beat some decent types at Haydock. I think he's overpriced at around 8-1. And Symbol of Strength, I cannot make sense of his price against Shadow of Light. I think he's overpriced in terms of that. So I would go with Symbol of Strength as well. I thought he ran a really good race in that Gimcrack. He's literally only just behind Shadow of Light. He's run well since, he won since on the all-weather and an absolute ground. Well, the surface he absolutely hated, and he drifted like a barge. Yeah, I think those two are a little bit of value in the Mill Reef.
I agree with you about a lot of that. Andy, I really appreciate you joining us on the show today. Thank you so much for subbing in for Peter Michael. I hope we can get you on the show again soon.
Anytime. Sorry I had got to split a little bit early, but thank you for you two gentlemen, and hopefully everyone will have a good weekend.
Please God. Andy, when are you next on the Bar Stewards?
Yeah, don't know, because we don't do the regular Friday show now. We'll probably be doing something I'd imagine we'll be doing something for Cambridgeshire. So it'll be on X or Twitter as to when I'm on next on that. So all to be agreed. But I shall be on there. And of course we do run, if I can get a quick plug in, we do run an excellent Patreon service as well, which is doing rather well at the moment.
Good man. That's good to hear. Andy Richmond, pleasure. And please God, we'll talk to you again very, very soon.
Cheers.
Andy Richmond, everybody. Because they know there's going to be a boatload of winners to come. from Andy, one of the shrewdest.
And then there were two.
And then there were two for the last race. Listen, for all that I was kicking myself this morning when the declarations came through about Shadow of Light then becoming the 9-4 shot. He deserves to be favoured for this, but I don't know what to make of Charlie Appleby. If Aidan O'Brien was having the season Charlie Appleby was having, they would be sitting on the Nick Look sofa going, well, it's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. The Coolmore team are not happy, and he's going to be replaced by David O'Mara. He's out. He's gone. He's finished. He's done. Back to training jumpers. But because it's Charlie Appleby, it's just like, oh, well, it's tough training those 7-figure horses. It's not all his. I don't, and I like Charlie Appleby. I like him a lot. But sometimes you can learn an awful lot about what's really going on in racing, about what the racing media do not want to talk about. They don't want to talk about the fact that Aidan O'Brien is going to be champion trainer of the flat. It's not a question of, oh, well, he might be. No, he's going to be. That's over and done. No talk about it. And no talk about the fact that Charlie Appleby had more runners in Canada than he did at the Doncaster St. Ledger meeting, and they all got lapped, including some of the 2-year-olds that he was very, very excited by. That Al Quadra, oh yeah, he's going to win the Breeders' Cup Juveniles. No, I doubt it. Doubt it. And the filly that's got form with Fairy Godmother and the horse that did us a favour on the Sunday as well, Lake Victoria. She got thrashed too. So if you want to take 9-4 about Charlie Appleby's horse in the Mill Reef Stakes Shadow of Light, good luck to you. He is the one to beat, but no thanks.
Do you think the old Bin Saror is sitting at home liking this, or not? Do you think he, because he's been cast aside a little bit, hasn't he, in the last 10 years or so?
Well, I doubt that Said Bin Saror is the kind of person who engages in schadenfreude. But I would say that
deep down, they
are downsizing that yard even further, right? They are like that. There's a layoff program going on for staff at Said Bin Saror's yard. All the horses he trains are Godolphin bred, and that's it. He doesn't get anything from the sales. And this seemingly is because he dared to express the opinion that the horses John Ferguson was buying for him were backward, awkward, and useless. And because he said that, he doesn't get anything from the sales anymore, and seemingly is just being pushed aside. Who was Godolphin's Royal Ascot winner this year? Oh, yeah, that's right. It was Said Bin Saror. Who gave them a classic winner last year? Oh, yeah, that's right. It was Said Bin Saror. With nothing. They give him... It's like that line from Iron Man. Tony Stark built this with a bunch of scraps in a cave, and that's Said Bin Saror. He's given scraps. He had a 9-year-old runner the other day for Godolphin. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I think it's very, very obvious that Godolphin, their heads are turned, or Sheikh Mohammed no longer cares about British racing in the way he did. Nobody is talking about it. It's so strange. Is Shadow of Light going to win?
Look, it's definitely got a chance. I mean, I think of the two, in the Jim Crack form, we haven't got the winner, have we? Call Hoof Luke, that was entered, but it's coming out. But I think the way it was running on second in the Jim Crack, you'd probably rather be with that than Symbol of Strength. But then, saying that, Symbol of Strength did do us a favour at Kempton, a couple of weeks ago.
We did you a favour. I got him badly wrong.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it drifted quite badly in the betting, didn't it? Because it was about even money. Went out to I think it won about 5-2 or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, last year's winner of this race was actually third in that Kempton, the Serena Stakes. So there's a bit of sort of something to go on there. And I thought that Symbol of Strength did run on quite well at Kempton last time out. But there's probably not going to be a lot between them. Obviously, Powerful Glory, the Far Hills, again we've battered on about it, haven't we, about the form of the Far camp. But this is the sort of, could be anything. It's only run once, isn't it? And it absolutely dotted up at Ponty. So the only thing I'd say is I did look back. The second in that race hasn't won since, but the third has, horse called Dash Dizzy, won at Kempton. So there's sort of, yes, the form's all right, and then it's not all right. But so really, I mean, yeah, Defence Minister for the Watford guys, they had to, I think they supplemented this one, didn't they, in the week for, I don't know, it wasn't loads, like 10 grand or something, 2 from 2. You just think, yeah, the yard are in decent order, probably needs a tiny bit more. Interesting draw stat here, though, as well. Almost all of the last 9 winners, 7 of the last 9, are just 3, drawn 3 or lower. So obviously that's just 3 horses there, one of which is Brian, drawn 1, Defence Minister's drawn 2, and that's Sarib Star is drawn 3. So that's fairly interesting as well. And probably of those, maybe Brian looks the value at 10-1. I mean, it was only just behind Symbol of Strength on it last time, ran on okay, course and distance winner as well. I think it's the only course and distance winner actually in this field as well, isn't it? So that's a big old tick. It's got a bit to find on the ratings. I mean, the Shadow of Light's 108, and this Brian is rated 98. But I just think 10-1, little bit of an each way play, mainly because of the draw. I think that's a big old stat, isn't it? 7 of the last 9 drawn 3 or lower. So yeah, and as I say, that Kempton race did produce the winner of this last year in a Ray. So yeah, Brian, tentative each way, I think, Emmet.
I was looking at him the other day. I like this horse. He's very consistent. He's got some decent form figures to his name. I'd be surprised if he was good enough to win, but I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked at all. I think he's a really nice horse. Maybe I'm reading way too much into this. I like.
The interesting thing is it's one. When it did win 2 runs ago at Newmarket, the ground that day was soft, and it did win very very easily. I think it just had a look just over 4 lengths. So if this expected downpours do come for Newbury, which they're due tomorrow, I think, and all day Saturday, then maybe it's a slightly better horse on softer ground, and that's going to sort of bridge the gap. We'll see, but that'll be a big old plus if it does start peeing down, for sure. Yeah,
it wouldn't be a plus for the horse I'm going to put up at a massive price, but it would be a plus for you for sure. I think Andesite's really interesting here for Carl Burke, and I think Oisin Murphy is a very, very, very interesting jockey booking. He wears a tongue tie for the first time, which you don't always want to see on the flat at all. But this fella was really good on his debut. He only won by a short head, but that race has worked out well at York. He was punted off the boards for the Coventry. He was the favourite for the Coventry, and the word was out that this fella was catching pigeons on the gallops and doing all that stuff that Racing Telegraph, when you'd call them to find out what the big tips were, or call Tomo's hotline, and they'd be giving you all the inside info. All those cliches. That was the word about this fella. And then, did he get cast in his box? He picked up some sort of an injury, missed Royal Ascot, came back for York for the Gimcrack. He was 7-1 for that race, and just shaped like he badly needed the run. Like, really needed it. There's a little bit of interference towards the end of the race. He's beaten when it happens. It's irrelevant. But I thought he shaped very well that day and would come on an awful lot for it. He's a half-brother to their Queen Mary winner, who ran in the very same silks for the very same trainer, dramatized. And he's bred to be smart. He's by Pinatubu. He's bred for speed. Oisin Murphy's a really interesting jockey booking here. The ground would need to be what it is now. I wouldn't want it going much. It'd be okay, but I wouldn't want it going massively worse on him. I think if it just gets like bad, they'll take him out. But 14-1 is, he doesn't have to improve that much. He had an RPR of 92 on debut. Shadow of Light was 88, then 96, 103 the other day. Symbol of Strength has worked his way up from 64 to 89 to 102 to 101. It's not a massive standard that's being set. It's gettable. And Powerful Glory was 93 in his debut. Like, this is open. Like, this can be won. Defence Minister is also very interesting. Very, very interesting. And he's bred for the job too. He's the first juvenile winner for the, I'm not going to try and pronounce the gentleman's name, but for the Watan primary trainer. He was their first juvenile. They've had another one since. But being a too darn hot who's unbeaten in 2 runs with an improving profile and James Doyle on his back, yeah, of course he's very interesting. But at 14-1, I'm going to take Andesite to cause an upset.
I think, a couple of mates went to York that day for the gym crack, and they text me on the way, and as I'm sure you get a load of men, give me some tips and all that rubbish. And actually, this is what I put up, which then proceeded to see the guys about, I don't know, when was it? Probably a couple of weeks ago, actually, at football. And they were like, yeah, thanks for your rubbish tips at York. Yeah, right.
If I throw a dog a bone, I don't want to know how it tastes.
Yeah, exactly. We've all been there. When it's just the nature of what we do. But the reason I put it up, I was impressed with its first run as well, first win, and like you say, it was built to run well at Royal Ascot, didn't quite get there, and when you look at the Jim Crack race, it was beaten at the time. Yes, when you read the old Racing Post in running comments, it says interference, but that it didn't cost it the race, did it?
No,
it was sort of 2 or 3 lengths down at the time. It almost sort of looked like he'd lost its action or something like that, or maybe it just got a bit spooked. There was horses coming either side of it and stuff like that. With that experience, then they've given it a month off. The tongue tie, as you say, is on for the first time. The slight niggle would be Burke's record with his 2-year-olds at Newbury isn't exactly super duper. I think it's probably like 0 for 22 or something. But you go back on its breeding, there is some hope if it does turn soft. I think there, we just don't know. Both its runs have been on good ground, so as you say, they'll know. If it does pee down and the connections think that the soft ground's going to be against it, as you say, they'll just pull it out and go from there. But yeah, Murphy riding, he doesn't ride many, does he? I wouldn't have thought of Burke,
not off the top of my head. I can't think of many.
It's one of those sort of standout they don't combine often, do they? So yeah, I wouldn't think it's the worst shot in the world. There's a lot of sort of things you have to take on trust and this, that and the other, but at 12-1 in a race where you can pick holes in probably the first 4 or 5 in the betting, then it's one of those renewals that's probably definitely not the strongest for a long time, and you wouldn't be shocked if something at a slightly bigger price pops up, especially one of the least or lesser exposed horses in there.
I can almost guarantee you, given the fact that I'm tipping winners on TalkSport 2 that I'm not backing, and then backing losers that I'm the decision-making process is not working particularly well for me right now. The hamster is running on the wheel, but he's running in the wrong direction. So I need to think a little bit clearer. But I like this. And the Dam was not beaten far on soft ground in a Group 2 in Deauville. She finished 3rd. She was only beaten a length and a half. They pulled her from heavy ground. It shouldn't be heavy ground at the weekend. Pinatuba won at Dewhurst on soft. So it shouldn't be a problem.
So there is some breeding there to cling to with the soft ground, definitely.
And this is a winnable race. Q Shadow of Light goes and absolutely bolts up by 5 lengths, becomes odds-on favourite for the Commonwealth Cup, and Charlie Appleby wins with everything over the weekend and Godolphin are back. But I don't think so. I don't think it's a massive standard that's being set, and I think he's a really interesting runner. I think that 14-1 with Jeff Banks bet about and the site. The more I think about it, the more I think that might be one of the big plays of the weekend. All right, what is your nap for the weekend, my friend?
We did all right with the nap, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Week?
Yeah.
Porta Fortuna went in. Last week was a funny one. There was a lot we got right and a lot we got wrong, so it was a bit of a 50-50.
I got Strodan, no!
Huh?
No, I got Strodan, no!
August Road, yeah, that was just... it was actually funny because I was at football, but I wasn't playing. I was running the line at the time, doing the old lino flag. I thought, right, my phone beeped off, like ding ding. So the Irish Champion Stakes alert came up, right? So I'm now trying to run the offside in this Vets football match while looking at the Irish Champion Stakes, and then I was like,
the players must have loved you.
Yeah,
mate, it was offside. What are you doing, mate?
I'm not watching the race. So yeah, there was a 2 or 3 that were pinging off during the old lino responsibilities. So yeah, that was, hats off to Peter. We did say, I know it was a bit of a ding dong, us and him sort of, and well done.
He was right, we were wrong. Simple as that.
Exactly.
No excuses.
Sorry. Right now, do you know what? This is probably like, Shawani Woo. Look,
Hello.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
That's a little.
What's his nap of the weekend?
His nap of the weekend is to sleep through the whole night, getting up and causing carnage. That'll be his nap. Yeah.
The joy of being a father. Just there's no such thing as sleep. You won't get sleep until you're 65?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's a nightmare. He wakes up at 4 every morning. Anyway, right. Actually, what a link this is, because my nap is not so sleepy.
Have you lost your mind?
It's each way naps.
Okay. Fair enough.
Right. Only because, I'll tell you why, I just think this is super tough week. If you're out there punting, all the races we've just been through. I mean, look, you can make cases for zillions in most of them. You've got a Silver Cup, you've got the Air Gold Cup, 50 odd runners between both those races. And I just think that, look, we almost had it up a couple of weeks ago in the Sprint Cup with the Fanshawe horse at a big price. This one's probably going to be similar, 10, 12s, 14s, that kind of price. Look, it won the race last year. It could be its last ever time on the track. It's 12. You can pick holes in it. Tom Marquand's on it. It's only £1 higher than last year. The rain will be in its favour. Goes well fresh. I just think each way, booting out in the front, and it just could be not so sleepy to win the nap.
I like it. I think you're bonkers, but I like it. And it's just it's the kind of race that when they announce, oh yeah, by the way, this is his last ever run, you're kicking yourself that you didn't back him.
No, it's going to, yeah. And it's one of those, it's like that time when there's a sponsored race, isn't there? By the owners or whatever, or a horse's name. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
What was Graham Good's line? Sponsor's horse in the sponsor's race. Laura King will burst into tears, by the way, if that happens, because she and her daughter can't go. She was saying this on X the other day, how rude it is of one of her friends to be getting married on a Saturday. How dare they? But don't get married on a Saturday. Don't do that. We want an excuse to get a day off work. Do it on a weekday. Don't do that.
That could be Richard Hughes' next excuse for his own. Sorry, we had a wedding. We had a wedding today, so yeah.
Late non-runner because of a wedding.
Wedding.
He got the 12s. Oh man. All right.
Anyway, what's your nap?
My nap. Andy's site's up there. He is up there. I'm trying to decide if I'm doing a patent or I think I am doing a patent. The nap is Pilgrim. He's got a cracking chance. Oh, okay. He's got a fantastic chance for that race. I'm really excited about that. I'm probably going to do a scumbag each way, lucky 15. What I mean, probably. I am doing a scumbag each way, lucky 15. I don't know why I would lie and say, well, probably. I like Summergand quite a bit. Like, he should be running in the Gold Cup itself. They're putting him into the Silver Cup instead. I think he's got a huge chance. And Jeff's going 8-1. It's like, okay. That's a carrot that's been dangled a little bit too much. I like Sky Majesty in the juvenile race. Maybe I'm overthinking that one, but only the one run, daughter of Blue Point. So she'll be close to the banker material. Pilgrim, Sky Majesty, Summergand, and Decide.
I thought you were going to say Not So Sleepy.
No, mate. No. Good luck with that one. I would love to see him win. I really like QE.
It's each way. Look, it's one of those weekends, as I keep saying, that there's no, if you're a big old favourite backer that likes to even money shots, even the 2-to-1s, there's going to be limited, well, unless you delve into wherever else, Chester or whoever else are running.
This is a small stakes weekend.
It's one of those ones. Bookies are going to love it.
Yeah. Jeff Banks is he can't wait for this weekend.
Exactly, but if you, on the plus, if you do get one of your lucky 15s up, it's going to be old Jack Potio time, isn't it? Because the prices.
On that, I'm going to make it a lucky 31. Summergand, Sky Majesty, Pilgrim, Bolster. I like that Bolster a lot in the 240. I think he's real interesting. And if it does get soft, that'll suit him. And Andesite, come on, Oisin Murphy. Come on, Oisin Murphy. All right, that's it. From Andy Newton, Andy Richmond, who joined us earlier on. Thank you so much for joining us on the Final Furlong podcast. I forgot my name. Emmet Kennedy, thank you for joining us on the show. I've done it again, Andy. I'm supposed to be doing hey, can you give us a few likes, please, on social media? Thanks very much. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button while you're there as well. It's much appreciated. From Andy Newton, Andy Richmond, and me, Emmet Kennedy. Best of luck this weekend. It's a small stakes weekend. And because it's a small stakes weekend, all the horses I'm putting in the Lucky 31 are absolutely full sure to win. And I would be saying to myself afterwards, man, if I'd only put more on, I'd have won more. But that's what makes us a moron. From Andy Newton, Andy Richmond, and me, Emmet Kennedy, look after yourself and each other. We'll talk to you again next week. God bless.
The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet. Join the excitement and sign up to Jeff Banks online now to get 10% off any net losses returned as cash after your first month of betting up to £500 at jeffbanks.bet.